U2 are an Irish rock band from Dublin. Formed in 1976, the group consists of Bono, The Edge, Adam Clayton, and Larry Mullen Jr. U2's early sound was rooted in post-punk but eventually grew to incorporate influences from many genres of popular music. The Who are an English rock band that formed in 1964. Their classic lineup consisted of lead singer Roger Daltrey, guitarist Pete Townshend, bassist John Entwistle, and drummer Keith Moon. They are considered one of the most influential rock bands of the 20th century, selling over 100 million records worldwide and establishing their reputation equally on live shows and studio work. Rush is a Canadian rock band formed in August 1968 in the Willowdale neighborhood of Toronto, Ontario. The band is composed of bassist, keyboardist, and lead vocalist Geddy Lee, guitarist and backing vocalist Alex Lifeson, and drummer, percussionist, and lyricist Neil Peart. Phil Lesh and Friends is an American rock band formed and led by Phil Lesh, former bassist of the Grateful Dead. Phil Friends is not a traditional group in that several different lineups of musicians have played under the name, including groups featuring members of Phish, the Black Crowes and Allman Brothers Band. The Allman Brothers Band was an American rock band formed in Jacksonville, Florida in 1969 by brothers Dwayne Allman and Greg Allman, as well as Dickie Betts, Barry Oakley, Butch Trucks, and J. Joanie Joey Johansson. Metallica is an American heavy metal band formed in Los Angeles, California. Metallica was formed in 1981 when vocalist, guitarist James Hetfield responded to an advertisement posted by drummer Lars Ulrich in a local newspaper. James Marshall Jimi Hendrix was an American guitarist, singer, and songwriter. Although his mainstream career spanned only 4 years, he is widely regarded as one of the most influential electric guitarists in the history of popular music, and one of the most celebrated musicians of the 20th century. The Beatles were an English rock band that formed in Liverpool in 1960. With members John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison and Ringo Starr, they became widely regarded as the greatest and most influential act of the rock era. Van Halen is an American rock band formed in Pasadena, California, in 1974. From 1975 until 1985, the band comprised guitarist Eddie Van Halen, vocalist David Lee Roth, drummer Alex Van Halen, and bassist Michael Anthony. The Clash were an English punk rock band that formed in 1976 as part of the original wave of British punk. Along with punk, their music incorporated elements of reggae, dub, funk, and rockabilly. For most of their recording career, The Clash consisted of Joe Strummer, Mick Jones, Paul Simonon and Nicky Topperhead. Aerosmith is an American rock band, sometimes referred to as the Bad Boys from Boston and America's greatest rock and roll band. Their style, which is rooted in blues-based hard rock, has come to also incorporate elements of pop, heavy metal, and rhythm and blues, and has inspired many subsequent rock artists. Pearl Jam is an American rock band, formed in Seattle, Washington, in 1990. Since its inception, the band's lineup has comprised Eddie Vedder, Mike McCready, Stone Gossard and Jeff Hammond. The band's fifth member is drummer Matt Cameron, who has been with the band since 1998. Robert Nesta Bob Marley was a Jamaican reggae singer-songwriter, musician, and guitarist who achieved international fame and acclaim. Starting out in 1963 with the group The Wailers, he forged a distinctive songwriting and vocal style that would later resonate with audiences worldwide. Blue Oyster Cult is an American rock band from Long Island, New York, whose most successful work includes the hard rock and heavy metal songs The Reaper, Godzilla and Burnin' For You. Since the release of their eponymous debut album in 1972, the band has sold over 24 million albums worldwide, including 7 million in the United States alone. Radiohead are an English rock band from Abingdon, Oxfordshire, formed in 1985. The band consists of Tom York, Johnny Greenwood, Colin Greenwood, Phil Selway and Edil Brian. Radiohead released their debut single Creep in 1992. Black Sabbath are an English rock band, formed in Birmingham in 1968, by guitarist and main songwriter Tony Iommi, bassist and main lyricist Geezer Butler, singer Ozzy Osbourne, and drummer Bill Ward. The band have since experienced multiple lineup changes, with guitarist Iommi being the only constant presence in the band through the years. The Rolling Stones are an English rock band formed in London in 1962. The first settled lineup consisted of Brian Jones, Ian Stewart, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Bill Wyman, and Charlie Watts. Stewart was removed from the official lineup in 1963 but continued as occasional pianist until his death in 1985. Pink Floyd were an English rock band formed in London. They achieved international acclaim with their progressive and psychedelic music. Distinguished by their use of philosophical lyrics, sonic experimentation, extended compositions and elaborate live shows, they are one of the most commercially successful and musically influential groups in the history of popular music. The Grateful Dead is an American rock band formed in 1965 in Palo Alto, California. The band was known for its unique and eclectic style, which fused elements of rock, folk, bluegrass, blues, reggae, country, improvisational jazz, psychedelia, and space rock, and for live performances of long musical improvisation. Led Zeppelin were an English rock band formed in London in 1968. The group consisted of guitarist Jimmy Page, singer Robert Plant, bassist and keyboardist John Paul Jones, and drummer John Bonham. The band's heavy, guitar-driven sound, rooted in blues and psychedelia on their early albums, has earned them recognition as one of the progenitors of heavy metal, though their unique style drew from a wide variety of influences, including folk music. LaVale William Crumb, better known by his stage name David Banner, is an American rapper, record producer, and occasional actor. Born in Jackson, Mississippi, Banner graduated from Southern University and pursued a Master's of Education at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Siouxsie and the Banshees were an English rock band formed in London in 1976 by vocalist Siouxsie Sioux and bass guitarist Stephen Severin. Initially associated with the English punk rock scene, the band rapidly evolved to create a form of post-punk discord full of daring rhythmic and sonic experimentation. Bob Dylan is an American singer-songwriter, artist, and writer. He has been influential in popular music and culture for more than 5 decades. Much of his most celebrated work dates from the 1960s when his songs chronicled social unrest, although Dylan repudiated suggestions from journalists that he was a spokesman for his generation. Neil Young is a singer-songwriter, musician, film score composer, film producer, film director, actor and screenwriter.